Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Rachel Williams begins now.
Good evening, everyone. Tasmania's Governor, Her Excellency the Honourable Kate Warner, has announced she's been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin lymphoma. She says she considered stepping down from her role when she received the diagnosis, but tonight is confident she can continue.
Walking into Government House in high spirits, the state's first female governor, feeling positive when announcing her cancer diagnosis.
I have been diagnosed with B-cell lymphoma, and the good news is that this is very treatable and curable, although I will have to undergo a course of chemotherapy.
The cancer was first found when the 70-year-old started experiencing hip pain and, as a keen bushwalker, was eager to get to the bottom of it. Further testing revealed the blood cancer.
I really hope that I'll be able to put this cancer thing in its little box, let the doctors do the treatment and of course follow what they say, but at the same time be able to focus on my role and to fulfil my duties.
It's no surprise to me that she would want to continue in this important role, and there's no reason why she can't. We can certainly ensure that the business of government will continue as normal.
As the patron of Cancer Council Tasmania, the Governor is now researching her own medical condition further.
Well, I suppose it's just learning more about cancer and the fact that, so many cancers are curable. I didn't know that, but actually having to read more about this particular type of cancer has made me learn more.
Her Excellency will receive treatment every few weeks, starting from tomorrow, surrounded by a supportive network of people.
I've got fabulous family and a strong friendship group and amazing colleagues. So yes, I am receiving a lot of support.
Labor and the Greens also offering support today, saying Professor Warner is a strong and determined woman and her decision to continue with her official duties is respected and a mark of our Governor's enormous commitment to her position. Her Excellency will serve her term until December, with a possible extension still to be confirmed. Ruby Kamain, 7 Tasmania News.
Police are on the hunt for a machete-wielding robber who terrorised 2 Launceston businesses yesterday afternoon. Staff at the Invermain News Agency were confronted by a man armed with a screwdriver who demanded cash around 3:45. Around 20 minutes later, the man entered the Mowbray Pizza Hut, this time with a machete, where he stole a small quantity of money. Police want to speak with 40-year-old Sean Blake over the matter. Anyone with information is urged to contact Crime Stoppers. A property in Newtown has been badly damaged by fire this morning. Crews were called to Bishop Street just before midday after a barbecue caught alight in the shed. Around $100,000 worth of damage was caused. The cause is not considered to be suspicious. There's no end in sight for Hobart's house price boom, with one suburb now boasting a median price of $1 million. New figures from one property group paint a rosy picture for sellers across the city, but a grim one for buyers. And 2019 is promising to add more digits to sale prices.
Welcome to Tassie's $1 million neighbourhood. Battery Point locals are well aware they're sitting on hot property.
I was pretty lucky. I moved with family, so I didn't really have a choice, and Hobart grew up around us, so I've been very lucky with that.
Because it's so convenient and enjoy the ambience, and yes, it's all good.
Real estate groups say there's no end in sight to Tassie's big boom.
For the first time, we now have a $1 million suburb in Hobart. Battery Point hit that level in 2018 and Sandy Bay should get there in 2019.
South Hobart and Carlton homes are also being snapped up quick, and it's bad news for buyers elsewhere in the city.
In the first half of 2019, it's looking like prices will continue to rise in Hobart.
In the north, hungry investors are keeping the Launceston market ticking along. Statewide, the median house price is now exceeding $400,000. But Hobart has seen an 8.4% increase in its median price growth, with pressure coming from tourism and a surging university student population.
That on itself has put that much demand on our limited supply that we're actually finding that we don't have enough accommodation. In Hobart, we're about 5,000 properties short at the moment.
The Institute predicts it could take 4 years to catch up to the shortage. So don't expect prices to go down anytime soon. Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
Small businesses are being urged to continue doing their part for Tasmania's booming tourism industry, with new figures showing a 23% increase in spending across the state's tourism businesses to nearly $1 billion over the past 12 months.
As an industry, we need to make sure we don't rest on our laurels. We continue to develop new products, but we also really focus in on our competitive strengths, and that's obviously in a range of areas.
Total visitor spending for Tasmania was around $2.5 billion in 2018. Mona Foma's first year in the north has officially kicked off in Launceston. It was an early morning start to the festival with an inflatable man by local artist Amanda Pera taking shape in Cataract Gorge.
It's actually a play on Auguste Rodin's famous sculpture, The Thinker, which he made in the late 1880s. But I've contemporised his famous sculpture into modern man.
Meanwhile, more than 2,000 handmade onesies are being painstakingly prepared.
Yeah, we wanted something electric and also to keep, I guess, the public guessing what we're going to do next.
The festival continues tomorrow with morning meditation at Cataract Gorge and performances at Civic Square.
More than 2,000 runners were treated to perfect conditions in Hobart for this morning's annual Cadbury Marathon. While it was the mainlanders who dominated the men's races, it was 2 Tasmanians who crossed first in the women's.
After falling painfully short of victory last year, Melbourne's Dion Finocchiaro wasn't leaving anything to chance this time around, crossing the line after a gruelling 2 hours and 27 minutes of running.
I only entered probably last month, and it was more of a lead-in race for another race, and having done 12 marathons last year, I was just, the marathon distance isn't too far for me anymore.
It didn't seem too far for Miriam Dowie either, who, having won last year's half marathon, made the successful step up to the full 42-kilometre course.
I've been going through a lot in my personal life, so that's impacted my ability to train. So I had a lot of doubt coming into this race, and I was thinking about not running at all, but then I told myself I'd rather try.
Earlier, Great Britain's Nick Earl made comfortable work of the half marathon field to claim his second event win as he prepares to test himself against the world's most elite distance runners at March's Tokyo Marathon.
All the mainlanders all talk about going down to Tassie, doing these races. They look after the athletes, and you run in beautiful conditions. It's just an absolute no-brainer.
Bernie's Samantha Phillips getting it done on behalf of the Northwest Coast in a close race. The 21-year-old claiming the biggest win of her running career and setting herself up for a massive year ahead.
Aiming for a PB today, and I was a few minutes off, so yeah, it's obviously when you don't get a PB a little bit disappointing, but can't complain really. I did die about 5k in, so it was a bit of a struggle home for the rest of the 15, but yeah, we got there.
Tasmanian paddler Daniel Watkins has blitzed the field at the National Slalom Championships at Brady's Whitewater course. After claiming the Australian title in yesterday's C1 final, Watkins backed it up today, adding another national title to his name by taking out the MK1 final. Fellow Tasmanian Kate Eckhart also ending up on the podium with a third-place finish in the women's canoeing final.
Another beautiful day around Tasmania today. 23 in Hobart, 27 in Launceston with 21 in Burnie and Devonport. Who's had the state's top with 29, 28 for Bushy Park. Cressy, Medina, Campania and Grove all 27. Tunnock hit 26, 25 for Fingal with 24 degrees on the Bass Strait Islands. Low level cloud visible over the north coast through inland areas a little bit there, clear elsewhere. Mostly clear for the remainder also. Frontal bands crossing southern waters with patchy mid-cloud extending into WA and New South Wales. Tomorrow the main high sits in the Tasman, extending a ridge over the state. A cold front weakens to the southwest with ridges of high pressure extending over southern WA and eastern states. East to southeasterly winds 10 to 20 knots about the north, with north to northeasterly winds about the east, variable about 10 knots for the west and the south with seas to 2 metres. Mostly sunny in the south, 25 in Hobart. Tomorrow, 24 for Dover, 33 degrees at Ouse, 28 in Launceston, 25 for Devonport, 25 for Scottsdale. Possible showers there later. Burnie 24 degrees, Strawn 27 and Stanley 22 degrees with showers, and 23 for St Helens. A sunny day in Swansea 25 with 31 degrees for Ross. And the UV remains extreme right around Tasmania. A hot day expected for most centres on Tuesday. Cloudy for most parts throughout the day with some light showers through the east possible later. Some showers possible through the south on Wednesday, but mostly fine elsewhere, with a few showers and hot conditions across the state on Thursday. Those showers shouldn't be too extreme, so don't worry. Looking at your major centres tomorrow, mostly sunny conditions, 30 in Perth, 39 for Adelaide, 35 in Melbourne and Canberra, with 29 for Sydney, and showers in Cairns, 31. And a few clouds still lingering, 22 for Hobart, Launceston 24 and 21 in Devonport. That's all from me, Rach. Back to you.
Wonderful, thank you for that, Sam. Well, that's all your news. Now, Joe Palmer will be back with you tomorrow night at 6. Thanks for watching. Good night.